Hello everyone, I'm Jordana Van of Ravenlight Holistic Healing and welcome to Mountain Lion as a Totem. Before we get started, a quick public service announcement. It used to be that when you subscribe to my channel, as many of you have, and I cannot tell you guys how very much I appreciate it, that this was enough to guarantee that you'd be notified when I put out a new video. But apparently, now you not only have to subscribe, you have to click the little bell icon that's next to the subscribe button, and then that will allow you to receive notifications. After that, you then have to select whether or not you want to receive notifications every time I put out a new video, or if you want YouTube to decide which of my videos you would like to see. If you don't select an option yourself, YouTube is going to default to picking which of my videos they think you want, and that may mean that you don't see any of them. So if you enjoy my work, subscribe and click the bell and click all, and you'll always know when I've uploaded something new. So let's get started. Many of you may know the mountain lion as a cougar, a puma, a panther, a catamount, or by nearly 40 other names, and those are just the names in the English language. There are actually 25 different names for the same creature in various native North American dialects, and 18 in native South American. But for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to refer to this critter throughout the video as a mountain lion. As always, there's a lot more to mountain lion than I cover here. For the sake of brevity, I pick what feel like the most critical characteristics associated with each animal to share in my videos. But if you would like to know more about mountain lion as a totem, or if you'd like to better understand how mountain lion relates to you personally, please visit my website, www.ravenlightholistichealing.com, and schedule a session with me. I would be delighted to work with you. So, unlike the lions of Africa and Asia, who live and hunt together in prides, the mountain lions of the Americas are intensely solitary creatures. Males and females come together only to mate, staying together for 3 to 10 days, and then they go their separate ways long before the cubs are born. The mother raises the cubs on her own, looking after them and teaching them to hunt for 1 to 2 years, and then the cubs disperse as well. Though mountain lions eat smaller prey such as coyotes, raccoons, rodents, feral pigs, and even porcupines, their favorite prey is deer. And they're even known to single-handedly bring down an elk. These are critters that it would usually take a pack of wolves to subdue, or a pride of lions. Not bad for a cat that's not included in the big cats designation, largely because its body resembles that of a house cat more than a lion. For this reason, one of the mountain lion's most distinguishing features is its fierce strength and self-reliance. It very clearly does not need help from anyone else to take care of itself. If you're a mountain lion person, one of the most significant lessons in your life is going to be discovering your own power to take care of yourself. And more than that, to thrive through honoring your own inner guidance and relying upon your own strength and cunning. Some folks incarnate to learn how to accept guidance and help from others, or to learn to work together as a team for the greater good. Not mountain lion people. If mountain lion is one of your totems, during the time that mountain lion is really making itself apparent to you, the focus is going to be on becoming the uncontested leader of your own life, trusting that when you're calm and legitimately grounded, that you know best how to take care of you, that you have the power to do it, and that you're probably going to do so in a way different from that of most people. Now, the mountain lion has an exceptionally long tail. It makes up approximately 1/3 of its total body length. When we're talking about a creature with such a pronounced tail, there is going to be a major focus in the lifetime of the person for whom this creature is a totem on first chakra, also called the root chakra or base chakra issues. What this means is that the areas in which you are most greatly challenged to develop the aforementioned self-sufficiency, to develop the ability to trust yourself implicitly, are those linked to the first chakra. The first chakra is where we house our sense of security, which is why, when it's out of whack, all the chakras above it are going to struggle to function properly. If we are afraid that something bad is going to happen to us, it's kind of hard to focus on anything else, as anyone who's ever had chronic anxiety, I did, can tell you. For most of us, we interpret our relative degree of security as it relates to 2 specific facets of our lives, our families and our jobs. If we believe that we have a loving, protective family that will always love us for exactly who we are, who will be there for us no matter what, and who will move heaven and earth if needed to do so, money isn't the be-all, end-all of our sense of security. I mean, yeah, it'd be pretty cool if we could earn a fabulous living and take care of ourselves. It would definitely make us feel like grown-ups. But if we can't, we know that our family will somehow find a way to take care of us. This is what it means to trust in the security provided by family. We know that we don't have to be enough by ourselves, because even if they have to sacrifice, they will find a way for us if we fail. But let's say you don't have a family that you can trust to take care of you if you're in need. How do you feel secure then? Assuming you can avoid the trap of seeking someone else to take care of you, surrendering yourself into a marriage of convenience, for example, or into a friendship with a person of means, most of you will seek to trust in a job. You attempt to connect with a way of making a living that makes you think that you're guaranteed to receive enough money to meet your needs. Now, if mountain lion people are supposed to learn to become the leaders of their own lives with regards to first chakra issues, what does this mean for their experience with family and jobs? Let's start with family. So at some point, the mountain lion person is going to conclude that they cannot rely on their family to be there for them, no matter how loving or well-intentioned that family may be. If they're going to survive, and more, if they're going to survive as the person they truly are, the only person they can rely on is them. This is going to look different for everyone. Maybe you were abandoned as a child and the only person on whom you've ever been able to rely is you. Maybe you get yourself into trouble financially and your family refuses to bail you out. Maybe you find your true calling or you find your true love and your family tells you they will only support you if you give those things up. Given the choice between your security and your soul, you choose your soul. Maybe critical members of your family die and you're left on your own. Maybe your family wants to be there for you, but they simply lack the resources. Maybe they're just too self-absorbed, or perhaps they have their own enormous troubles and really, truly can't be there for you. Maybe they've decided to downsize and move to Fiji, and it's just expected that now you're going to have to take care of yourself. Maybe it's a combination of these things. My own experience checks multiple boxes. Whatever the case, at a certain point you are on your own, and whether or not you survive is all and only up to you. This really may feel like being shoved off the proverbial mountain and landing shattered on the rocks below. If this happens to you, as it did to me, it is the truest of blessings, though it's quite unlikely it's going to feel that way at the time. When we hit rock bottom, the only place that we have to go is up. And then we can start climbing the mountain that resonates with who we actually are and not who we thought we were supposed to be or who we thought it was safest to be. So, here you are, and suddenly the only guaranteed source of support is your own wits and will. Since we know at this point that you're not living off the family financial trust, and we're really hoping you're not just looking around for someone else to support you, you're now going to be looking for a secure feeling source of income. And Mountain Lion has quite a lot to say about the way in which you're going to do this. Mountain lions are independent creatures. They live alone, hunt alone, and tackle huge prey quite capably. What this translates to in humans is a person who does not particularly enjoy working as a team, who does not want anyone else telling them what to do, and who will happily do the job of any other 10 people just to make sure the job is done right. Mountain lion people need their freedom and flexibility. They need to be able to set their own schedules, make or break their own rules, and choose what projects to pursue and how to pursue them. 2, mountain lions are stalk and ambush predators who, while extremely fast and powerful, tire quickly. These cats put a lot of energy into observation and planning because they only have so much available for the actual pursuit and execution. They aren't built for the chase. If the animal gets away, they don't have a lot of spare energy to hunt another. This is one of the reasons that their preferred method of attack is to leap on the creature's back and crunch through the neck with its strong jaws and sharp canines, which kills the prey instantly. If it had to struggle with the prey, it might get away, and lacking the energy to chase after it, the mountain lion would starve. What all of this creates in mountain lion people is an absolute intolerance for poor planning, let alone outright recklessness, and the resultant wasted time and effort. These people are direct, concise, focused on the essentials of a situation. You want to make a mountain lion person bonkers? Give them busy work. Or give them something that must be done in order to avoid offending others rather than for the sake of true need. Or even worse, put them on a team with people who start trying to accomplish a goal without taking the time to understand what is needed to accomplish said goal, and then have to take time chasing down answers that ought to have been researched before the pursuit started. When an important outcome is on the line, mountain lion people want to make it happen in the simplest, quickest, most efficient way possible. You can imagine how popular this makes them in most typical workplaces where not everyone is a planner or looks at the details, where people waste lots and lots of time, and many of the job requirements have to do with political correctness or avoidance of a lawsuit rather than expediency. This is one of the biggest reasons that mountain lion people tend to be happiest working by themselves. These things all just seem like big, infuriating wastes of energy. One of the most important qualities of a mountain lion person at work, however, has to do with enablement. As I mentioned earlier, mountain lion people are meant to develop self-reliance. And what this really means is that no one enables you. Mountain lion people, if you think that you're not accomplishing something important to you because the right person hasn't come along to help you accomplish it, you are the right person, and you're going to need to enable yourself. If the opportunities don't seem to exist, make them. There is no reason that you can't single-handedly create what you want from the ground up. In my own case, I run a global healing and metaphysical counseling practice, in addition to the actual work of seeing clients in every corner of the globe, including the contact and scheduling aspects, and authoring the documentation that goes along with responsibly working with people in this capacity. I manage all my social media accounts, I research, edit, and publish my own books, and I handle the legal aspects of running a business. No one taught me how to do any of this, not even what was required to responsibly run a business on this scale. When I want to take a day off, I can arrange one. When I want to work for 14 hours straight, I do that. My way of healing and counseling is uniquely my own, so if I decide that I don't want to do a certain aspect of my job anymore, I stop doing it. If I want to incorporate something new, I do. The buck stops here and I make the rules. And, well, I'm a mountain lion person. You can probably see why, for most mountain lion people, the same rigid 9-to-5 grind that so many other people seem to be able to tolerate will literally kill you dead. The temptation for most people in this situation is to somehow blame themselves. I cannot tell you guys how many of my clients have declared that something must be wrong with them because they're exhausted by and frustrated with the demands of a typical career. Hell, I used to think something was wrong with me because I felt this way. As it turns out, nothing was wrong with me. When I finally stopped beating myself up for not being able to tolerate a normal job in the public sector and took a risk on making a living working for myself and doing work in the way that I wanted to do it, lo and behold, I discovered that it was what I was meant to do all along. Now, it may not be the case that you have to wind up running your own business like I do, but as a mountain lion person, you're still going to have a significant amount of autonomy no matter what you do. 2, if you are not working for yourself, things are going to happen that will still require you to develop faith in you and your ability to make a living. You won't be able to rest your sense of security in your boss, or in the job itself, or in the industry. These things can all change, but if you can trust that you are smart enough, talented enough, and determined enough to find a way to take care of yourself no matter what happens, then you've learned Mountain Lion's lesson, which is that you can take care of you, and that you can do so in a way that makes you radiantly happy. Basically, you get to learn to stop exchanging the truth of who you are and what you are for an income, or for the support of someone else. You're the power, guys. You're the leader. When your first chakra is functioning at optimum, you know that no matter what happens, you can trust yourself to know precisely what to do. You get that the universe loves you, and so even when things appear to go wrong, you know that if you just relax, the path is going to appear. You're safe. This is the true meaning of security as we experience it in the first chakra. While family and job seem to be the source of security in our lives, we are actually the source of security. If those other things were gone, we would somehow still survive. But here's the thing, guys. The secure path, as determined by the universe and interpreted by our higher selves, rarely looks that way. It almost never looks logical. It doesn't require anything that it doesn't resemble anything that most of society would see as right or safe. The path of the mountain lion person, in fact, tends to be quite unconventional. Because of this, the heart of a healthy first chakra, and therefore the heart of Mountain Lion's lesson on self-sufficiency, is trusting you above anyone else. No matter what someone else says, no matter how much of an authority on the topic they may be, you have to learn how to tune them out and listen to you. This is how you get where you're supposed to be. Remember, some totems teach us to ask for help or to learn how to work with others, but this is not one of them. You get to become the authority in your life. Does this mean it's wrong to ask for help? Absolutely not. Nor is it wrong to seek the guidance of others who might have more experience than you do. But it does mean that at the end of the day, if you're asking for their help because you don't want to be responsible for yourself, that help is going to let you down or make you wish you'd never asked. If you ask for guidance and the guidance doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't feel right, following that guidance is not going to lead you anywhere that makes you happy. This isn't about being arrogant or egotistical or ignorant, but it is about trusting that your higher self can discern when something is truly in alignment with your good. And Mountain Lion people, as you are learning how to do this, you are going to run into no shortage of people who want to tell you that you're wrong and that you should do things their way instead. This is uncomfortable. But we wouldn't learn how to really trust ourselves, to hear ourselves, if we didn't have experience with what happens when we don't. 2, nothing fires up an independently minded person like someone telling them they should play by the rules. At the beginning of my journey with Mountain Lion, my greatest growth came out of precisely this kind of opposition. Someone close to me told me that refusing to play the 9-to-5 game made me ignorant, self-indulgent, and lazy. And darned if I wasn't going to prove them wrong. And I did. So, if Mountain Lion people are so powerful and they're supposed to learn how to trust themselves to be their own best sources of guidance, what exactly is it that facilitates this ability? First, mountain lions are exceptionally gifted jumpers and climbers. They can spring forward 25 feet from a standstill, leap 12 feet straight up in the air, and jump safely down from a height of 60 feet. Given a running start, they can take leaps of 40 feet. When a creature with such prodigious jumping and climbing ability is your totem, you yourself have been given the ability to trust yourself to take some serious leaps of faith. Even if it seems nuts, if you feel energized and enlivened and passionate about something, you're meant to do it. Believe me, guys, if someone had told me years ago that I would successfully do what I do for a living now, I would have thought they were bonkers. The other gift that mountain lion people receive on account of the mountain lion's leaping and climbing ability is the talent for naturally attaining greater heights than many other people can imagine. In other words, accomplishing things that others would see as unlikely or impossible for themselves. Many of those who study mountain lions have commented that mountain lions are always seeking the highest vantage point. Mountain lion people naturally gravitate towards the top of the mountain, towards the highest expression and fullest understanding of whatever it is that they are doing. Mountain lion people tend to make achievement look easy, and the honest truth is, it is, in a way. The mountain lion person is still likely to work their tail off, but if they're really honoring their inner guidance, the process will flow. Reward is commensurate with effort. They are built to leap, built to summit. This is why mountain lion people, when no matter how hard you try, things just aren't working, you are definitely off track. You aren't supposed to have to force your achievements. Remember, mountain lions don't chase. They observe, pounce when the time is right, and kill. So how is it that you would get off track? You stop listening to your heart and you start trying to put all your energy into something you think you should do or have to do because another authority has made you think so, rather than what actually feels joyful, feels authentic. The reason mature mountain lion people seem to make success so easy isn't really that they're good at everything, but that when they are honoring their higher self, they only put energy into what is truly good for them. Because it's what they are intended to do, they are wildly successful. By the way, if you think that being good at most of the things to which you turn your hand will irritate a lot of people, you're right. Don't take it personally. When people make snippy comments, it isn't really to do with you. It's that they don't believe that they can do these things themselves, either because they believe they lack the talent or because they don't believe the structure of their lives will allow it. They wish they could do what you do. Which brings us to one of the main reasons you are on this earth, mountain lion people, to be an example to others. You learn how to listen to yourself and apply yourself to what you truly love, and your life works. And so simply by being the happiest, healthiest you become a living testimonial to the power of trusting divine guidance, the voice of the soul. Now, the second thing that gives mountain lion people the ability to trust themselves first and foremost, to take such giant leaps, is related to the mountain lion's long tail, which gives them excellent balance, aiding in leaping and climbing. Mountain lions also have flexible spines, like a cheetah's, allowing them to change direction quickly without hurting themselves. In alignment with its link to the first chakra and true security, the mountain lion's long tail and its balance lending capability provide a mountain lion person with a notable groundedness. These folks do not tend to get carried away by emotion. Even when they are taking outrageous seeming leaps of faith, they're going about it in a practical, capable fashion and with their eyes wide open. When we are grounded, when we're balanced, we have a connection to the divine that we can trust, and this connection feels peaceful and knowing. We take action from a calm, centered place based in what we know is right. When we are not grounded, we are driven by our emotional state, and our actions come from a place of agitation and very often fear. We do things because we are afraid of what will happen if we don't do them, not because we legitimately want to. Being so grounded means that a mountain lion person, when they do take a leap, is more likely to land safely on the other side, unlike those who may leap from wild emotion and wind up far from where they'd like to be. This groundedness works hand in hand with the flexibility related to the mountain lion's wonderfully flexible spine. When you're grounded and the universe suddenly says, I know you thought you were going this way, but actually you're going that way, it's easier to flow with a change in direction. It doesn't feel threatening. It feels precisely the way everything else has felt, namely calm and knowing. When you're not grounded, the idea that your path isn't going where you thought it was going tends to be terrifying. Mature mountain lion people can turn on a dime if they have to, which gets them to where they are intended to be a whole lot faster than if they resisted the change and fought to stay on a path that wasn't serving them any longer. I would like to stress here that this is something that mountain lion teaches, not necessarily something with which the mountain lion person is born, though perhaps you were one of the lucky few. In some ways in my life, I have always been able to change direction when something no longer served me. In others, dear God, did it take me time to teach myself to let go? And all I can say here is that it was definitely time well spent. When you know it's safe to let go and change direction when you're called to do so, you don't spend a lot of time stressing over trying to hold on to something. You don't worry about what will happen if it's taken away. You're just free to flow as life demands. The last thing that really contributes to the mountain lion's ability to really trust themselves and to so successfully take leaps of faith is the mountain lion's vision, which is quite acute. Not only can they see well, the placement of their eyes lends them a 200-degree vision span. These are folks who can both hone in on the details of a situation and analyze the situation as a whole. More, because they're very likely employing this fantastic vision from an elevated vantage point, they can see many things that are impossible to observe by those on the ground. Mountain lion people, as a result, tend to, one, have a supremely good understanding of most situations in which they find themselves, including the people involved, and two, tend to be able to see things that others simply cannot. When you have a solid grasp of the essentials of any situation, and you're moving from that aforementioned grounded place, which tells you when to leap and when to wait, you really are the best person to make decisions about your life. Now, mountain lions really are solitary creatures in the truest sense of the word. For the males, the height of their social activity is a brief mating period, after which they return to their quiet bachelorhood. There are no committed social relationships. For the females, their only sort of lasting social relationships are with their cubs, but even these only last a few years. What this means for mountain lion people is that when they do get close enough to people to form a relationship, the energy tends to go primarily one way, from the mountain lion person to the other person. Mountain lions only have long-term relationships with their cubs who require consistent guidance and nurturing. Again, it's only the female mountain lions too. Mountain lion people, in turn, tend to be the nurturer in the relationship, the mother, the teacher. They're the ones who provide the love, the guidance, and a shoulder to cry on. The other person may try to guide or nurture the mountain lion person from time to time, but remember, mountain lion people are their own best sources of guidance and support, so nurturing or instruction from others is unlikely to be needed, nor even particularly welcome. Imagine if your only close relationships are those in which people are wanting or needing something from you. If this were the case, you'd want some alone time, wouldn't you, to avoid being drained completely? Mountain lion people need a prodigious amount of alone time, largely for this reason. When they are with people, they often slip into teacher or nurturer mode, and this gets to be exhausting after a while. If they don't take time for themselves, they'll give every ounce of their own energy to others, leaving them without any for their own activities. And while mountain people may care a great deal about others, at the end of the day, what is most satisfying for them is time spent in their own company. This is why you are rarely going to find a mountain lion person who's going to get excited about going on a girls' night or guys' night out or spending the day shopping or hanging out with the gang. Their perfect evening or weekend, doing something quiet by themselves. 2, if you're going to trust your own strength and intuition, you have to really take time to get to know yourself inside and out. You can't do that if you're always being distracted by the needs and dramas of others. That time alone is what facilitates the mountain lion person's learning how to take care of themselves by themselves. Despite how much more relaxing it might be to be a hermit, however, mountain lion people do need light to moderate interaction with others. One of the things experts frequently note about mountain lions is that their behavior is so often contradictory. Mountain lions are exceptionally reclusive and secretive, and yet they're extremely curious and seem to want to know what people are up to. There have been numerous accounts of people encountering a mountain lion who just wanted a closer look before trotting off. I actually had an acquaintance who had a mountain lion poke its head into her tent while she was camping, enjoyed her company for a few heart-pounding minutes, and then withdrew and wandered off. It could easily have hurt her, but it didn't. If you're a mountain lion person, you get to learn to walk a very fine line between being involved with people and being too involved with people. At heart, you love your own company best, but there's just something about people that's so interesting. Your curiosity is always going to draw you into taking a closer look at what people are up to or asking questions about their experience. But because your natural tendency when you get close to people is to nurture them, it's a short step to becoming the person they want to tell all their drama to, or text 50 times a day, or call late at night, or hang out with when they're blue. This would be doable maybe if it was one person, but if you aren't vigilant, it's going to be every person that you let get close. So when people come to you with the energy of a cub, someone who needs love or guidance, and your factory setting when cubs are involved is nurture, how do you keep from being everyone's mommy? Thereby allowing yourself to have some fun, light relationships that satisfy your desire for human contact without draining you. Start with learning how to not nurture everyone who seems to be in need. This is easier said than done, particularly if, as it is for me, the urge to nurture is more of a compulsion than a decision. I feel someone having a moment of insecurity or being hard on themselves or dealing with fear or sadness, and it is literally like my brain shuts off and I wake up to find myself comforting them. This in and of itself isn't a bad thing. I like that I innately want to help people, but I have to maintain a constant awareness of my energy levels and whether or not I really want to nurture someone versus when I'm just being sucked into their need. This is where boundaries become super duper important. In order to avoid falling into the trap of nurturing anyone who seems to need it, thereby letting anyone drain you, you have to learn how to say no. The only act of service that truly makes a difference is one that is done with a joyful heart. If you attempt to care for someone from a place of guilt or fear or empty obligation, you're doing yourself a disservice, and it's not likely you're actually helping them either. Honoring your boundaries means that you only give your energy to others when you really, truly want to. So when someone calls or texts, asking for advice or a shoulder to cry on when you don't want to give it, you either ignore it or let them know you'll get back to them later. When someone asks you for help with something and you would really rather take time for you, you find a way to calmly tell them no. Remember that your real purpose here as a mountain lion person is to become the authority of your own life and to use this understanding to attain great heights, thereby inspiring others. This is your biggest achievement. Nurturing others along the way is a wonderful thing, but if it interferes with you having the energy you need for your passions, for the climb up your mountain, this is not in alignment with your true path. You get to come first in this lifetime, okay? So, back to boundaries. African and Asian lions roar. For that kind of lion person, making a pretty big stink about where their boundaries are is inherent in their life path. There may be actual yelling, and there may be a lot of drama. There will certainly be some form of passionate speaking up. Mountain lions, on the other hand, don't roar. Though mountain lion territories are enormous and though they actually overlap, scat, scent, and scrapes along the bark of trees or the ground are sufficient to notify other lions who is using what, and to avoid most conflicts. Mountain lions may see each other on occasion, but the bulk of their communication occurs through the aforementioned silent signals. And so you as a mountain lion person don't need to scream at people to get them to stop taking advantage of you. You don't even really need to have a conversation in most cases. Rather, you employ calm, simple assertiveness, more of a show than a tell. Rather than telling people to back off or leave you alone, you simply begin showing up only when and how you want to. You do what you want to do. You stop giving when you don't want to give. You stop making commitments you don't want to keep, or offering to help when you don't want to. You show them by your behavior where your boundaries are, and you ignore all attempts by others to get you to act contrary to your best interests. Now, somebody is going to mention the mountain lion scream. So just to let you know, it's only the females who do this, and they only do it when they're seeking a mate. Here they are asking for attention, not demonstrating a territorial boundary as African and Asian lions do. Most mountain lion noises are hisses, purrs, growls, and yowls, much like a house cat. Again, these are quiet people who are not intended to have to make a big deal in order to get what they want. They aren't drama kings and queens. They just have to be firm and then go about the business of being them. As those of you who have worked successfully with boundaries know, the more you respect your own time and energy, the more others do as well. In this fashion, you will have some relationships in which, yes, you give a lot of nurturing, but you will never, or more realistically, rarely, drain yourself completely for the sake of the other person. And you will have lots of other relationships which are comparably shallow, but still satisfy that cat-like curiosity. They're fun and fulfilling in their own way. Now, one of the things that really fascinated me about mountain lions is that they can eat porcupines, quills and all, and having a bit of trouble with them. And this is a good thing, too, because mountain lion people tend to run into no shortage of prickly individuals. These folks take a variety of forms. They may be jealous of the mountain lion person's success or annoyed by their self-confidence. They may be angry that the mountain lion person refuses to take their advice. They may resent that the mountain lion person doesn't live by society's rules, or this person may not be threatened by or upset with the mountain lion person at all. They may simply be a cocky or negative individual who happens to be ruining the vibe. I should add here that most of these prickly people are prickly because they are frightened. Their judgmental behavior, aggression, or negativity are defenses against people getting too close and seeing that they don't actually have it all together. These aren't bad people, just folks with wobbly self-esteem. Also, I am not talking about porcupine people here. I'm talking about the porcupine as it represents a source of prickliness. Whatever the case, one of two things tends to happen when Mr. or Mrs. Pricklepuss meets Mr. or Mrs. Mountain Lion. In the first instance, the mountain lion person brings their considerable charm to bear, and Mr. or Mrs. Prickle eventually relaxes. Mountain lion people have an odd gift for being able to get past the defenses of just about anyone, no matter how thorny their personalities. They know just what to say to charm these individuals, to get them to lay aside their fear and anger. And so what may have begun as an antagonistic relationship quickly becomes one of friendship, or at least tolerance, and very often this relationship winds up being one that really benefits the mountain lion person. Just as the mountain lion receives nourishment by eating the porcupine, mountain lion people will tend to receive something positive as a result of disarming the prickly person. By the way, mountain lion people tend to be able to do the same with prickly situations, opportunities that would seriously challenge or deter others. They look at all the possible risks or drawbacks, all those things that might hurt them, and think, yeah, I can get around that. And then they do. Now, in the second instance of prickly person meets mountain lion person, however, there is no friendship and there is no tolerance. There is complete and total destruction. Mr. or Mrs. Prickly gets a thrashing from the mountain lion person, and they either leave the scene for good or don't dare open their mouths again. In my own experience, the first scenario is the most frequent, but I have a Libra ascendant and Venus in Cancer, so I hate conflict and I'm afraid of hurting people or getting hurt myself. I would much rather charm someone into laying down their weapons so we can all be friends. But the second scenario has happened to me as well. When someone's ruining the vibe and it directly affects me, I don't care who they think they are. I will step up and say something, and I usually come out on top. Seeing that they aren't going to win, the other person tends to leave. Lastly, you may recall me mentioning at the beginning of the video that mountain lions have many, many names. Once upon a time, these cats roamed the largest territory of all land mammals, a space covering the entirety of North America and extending as far south as Chile and Argentina. It's for this reason that mountain lions have so many names. They've had contact with many different people in many different places, and each called the mountain lion something different. As a mountain lion person, you may also wander in some fashion, have contact with many, many people. This may not be physical travel. I gotta tell you guys, I never expected to be working globally. I live in a small corner of Indiana in the United States, and I kind of thought that's where I was gonna be. But through my work, thanks to Skype, I work all over the world every day. People all over the world have gotten to know me, which I still find crazy. It's also possible, as a mountain lion person, you may have a lot of names. I'm called Raven by those who know me only through my metaphysical work, while my family and oldest friends call me Jor. On any given day, in one day, I may correctly be called Jordana, or less correctly, Jordana, Jordana, Jordan, Joanna, Johanna, Gianni, Gianna, Johnny, and in one case, Johannabo. I've been called Jordy, Jory, spelled 3 different ways, and Jury, and Mrs. Van or Mrs. Vaughn. When I order coffee, I always tell the barista my name is Jay for ease of spelling, and sometimes they hear J, which sometimes they spell J-A-Y, and sometimes just J, and sometimes they hear Jade. If you are a mountain lion person yourself, you may experience something similar. It may also be the case that you yourself are as fascinated with names as I am. I'm a numerologer, and we understand how one letter can literally change your inherent drives and desires and life path. So names are a pretty big freaking deal to us. 2, I'm a writer, and I, honest to God, know nothing about a character's history or personality until I've named them. And before I can name them, no matter how much affection I may feel for a particular name, I have to know the name's history and significance and all of its different spellings. Some people get writer's block. I get can't pick the perfect name paralysis. The etymology of names and the art of naming are one of the great pleasures of my life. So I hope this has given you guys a good understanding of mountain lion. But if you would like further information, you are welcome to schedule a session with me. I work with people all over the world to help them understand the unique messages of their animal totems and spirit guides, and to also help with physical and emotional healing, dream interpretation, figuring out what you're here to do with yourself, and about a billion other things. And I would love to work with you as well. That's what I do for a living, and it is awesome. And so if you're interested in working with me, you can visit my website, which is www.ravenlightholistichealing.com. It'll tell you exactly what I do, what to expect, what I charge, how to book a session, and all that good stuff. You can also follow my work on Facebook and Instagram at Raven Light Holistic Healing. Look for the business, not my name. And while I understand if you would like my professional opinion on your spiritual situation, I do not provide this outside of a formal session under any circumstances. So if you're interested in my opinion or guidance, please book a session. Have a gorgeous day, my darlings. Cheers.